Hi, and welcome to my channel. So if you remember my charcoal video, it was kind of a tutorial, the snowy, wintry scene. I also mentioned that my brother gifted me oil pastels for Christmas, so I wanted to give that a try. I did start doing a preliminary sketch, and I figured it's oil pastels, let's keep things loose, and also it was just very tedious. I did already take the plastic off just because I knew it was going to be too reflective on the camera with all the light. So it comes with a little instruction manual. And it's cute. It's just kind of showing you different methods. And then here are our colors. There seems to be a lot of yellows. Which, oh. I am a genius. Okay, there's a lot of yellows, but there's a lot of every other color. How many sticks are in this? 48, okay. This looks like more than 48. I'm guessing that there's a bigger pack and this is all of the colors they offer. But that was quite the moment for me. Okay. So this is not nearly as many as this chart offers, so I think they do have bigger packs. So I really don't mind that we're not getting every single color from the color chart. I do have limited space. We live in a very small home, which is fine. I'm not complaining. I'm very lucky to have a roof over my head at all. But because of that, I have limited space. Oil pastels, although I've used them plenty in the past and I do enjoy them. They are really fun to use, but they are very messy. Even though I do enjoy them quite a bit, it's not something I gravitate to all the time. It's not like my go-to art supply. That would probably be colored pencils or paint markers. It's normally paint markers if I'm just wanting to play with something quickly though. With that being said, I don't mind that it's not a whole lot. You can always mix colors and it takes up less space if I have less different options, but I still have enough to do plenty of work with. I did start with one image that didn't quite work out, so you're going to see some first impressions ahead of time with a different image than what I actually work on in this video. Ooh, she is pigmented. Oh, you see how that's blending though? How it's like merging into each other? I'm loving this. Alright, so I have decided that the other image that I was working on is not great for the medium. So I changed my mind and I did a different sketch. This is a bridge landscape scene, I suppose you could say, off of the Tennessee River that my boyfriend took a wonderful photo of a while ago, actually. I just found it on my phone and I really liked it. And the reflection, I feel like, is perfect for the medium. So let's jump into it. Because I am doing some detail on this that might not be the best for the medium, but it is a bridge, so there's a lot of straight lines and everything. I will also be using masking tape, and some of the pieces I will have to like cut up, which is fine, but just a preface. So I'm gonna start with the sky just to kind of jump into it and work down. I already got blue on here, gosh. So this is a darker color than I probably should use on it, but it's the right, or a darker shade, but it's the right color, and it's going to be blended down into a much lighter color. So I'm just going to lightly go over here. So instead of using tape for this part, because I'm scared that it's going to pull up the pastel, I'm just going to put a scrap piece of paper over it and then use that like the tape. I am amazed. I am amazed, especially considering, like, I don't know, maybe every like specifically oil pastel artist already knows about these and already loves them, but I have not experienced or even heard of these before, and they're amazing. I love them. With that being said, I have not tested like very expensive oil pastels before. I've kind of only just played with the cheaper ones for the most part, because that's what I had access to, and although I do like oil pastels, they don't tend to be my go-to. So I should have put gray here instead of the blue, so I'm just using a little tool to scratch it off the best I can. I did decide to add a little bit more of the blue into this like the other parts, just to emphasize that it is the sky. I added more blue to these parts because it just looked like a different kind of metal, or closer metal maybe even, so I thought that that was a little bit more appropriate. Kind of showed what I was trying to relay. For the trees, all I'm really doing is just kind of dotting it in. And I'll do a little bit down here too, and I'll just use this color by itself to dot in down here to give the implication, and then down in here. And then I'll use the black to kind of smear nearby it. I am using this tool more than I thought I would in this kind of artwork. I normally would use my fingers or something, but I'm working smaller than I've worked previously with this material, and much more detailed as well. Should have erased these lines because yellow, it does tend to be more transparent, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Now that we've done one of the three set, well, half of the 2.5 sections, it's essentially going to be the same thing for the rest of them, except this has a little bit more detail. I'm not sure if I'm going to add or not. This one has a few lights, but I don't think I'm going to add them just because of like the size. I was genuinely planning on using more of the painter's tape with all of these skinny lines, but I think with how well I was able to get away with it there, I don't know if I'm going to be able, or if I'm going to want to. I also wanted to have more of that like painterly Van Gogh-y kind of look, so I think I'm gonna see what I can get away with without it. And I did screw this up because we're supposed to be able to see light from behind it. So I'm just gonna go in with this. And we'll just try and pretend that there's trees there. The craziest part about this to me is that my brother, who gifted these to me, knows like nothing about art. He is more into music, which there is nothing wrong with. I love listening to music. I love musical theater. Throwback to my Christmas ornament video. If you haven't seen that, I kind of talk about musical theater in that one and how my mother and I share that passion. But yeah, my brother is not super artsy. He's good at art, at least the last time I saw his work when he was in high school. He was very good at it, but it's not something that he's super passionate about, so it's not something he's pursued. So he doesn't know a whole lot about what products to get or anything like that. And all of the art supplies that he got me for Christmas were from Amazon. So he might have just been smart about it and simply looked up 5-star reviews for art supplies or something. I'm not sure, but he did so good. And I'm so lucky to have a brother that like thinks about my interests and what I'll actually use for gifts and gifting me anything at all in general. And he didn't have to. We didn't even talk about if we were doing Christmas or not this year. Danny, you did so good! I know I've been quiet during most of this, but that's honestly just because I've been just enjoying them and kind of spacing out and just doing art. But the majority of what I'm doing with this piece is just laying down color and blending it directly on top with other colors and adjacent colors. So you see I put the blue down, and to get the right color, I'm just going over it with the gray to mute it a lot. And you may have also noticed that for the most part, I'm not cleaning off the other colors when my pastel is dirty with this piece. And that's not purely out of laziness. There is a little bit of laziness there, but also this piece is very muted and it's sunsetty. Colors are just reflecting off of each other. So I'm kind of trying to keep that vibe, and in turn, I'm not minding colors mixing and becoming a little bit muddy and muted. I'm just kind of coloring in my sketch and blending directly with the pastels. And I'm not being super detailed where I don't have to be, because again, they're pastels, they're kind of bulky, it's kind of impossible to get too much detail, but that's also the beauty of it. And I mentioned this earlier too, is I'm kind of going with a bit of an impressionistic look. Think like Van Gogh. Not the same level of impressionistic, and nobody can be Van Gogh, but I'm just kind of trying to get that look and that vibe, and just blending colors, kind of going a little crazy with it. So if you were wondering what I was doing and why I haven't been talking as much, that would be why. the water reflection is the perfect example of the way I'm blending. I'm kind of just laying color down, not worrying if it's overlapping, and then going back and forth, and then I'll add in more color to get the shade that I want. So you can see how we're starting to get a little bit pinkier in that apricot color, and we'll add a little bit more blue into that. Add a little bit of this orangey, peachy, apricot-y color. And then we're just building up. You just gotta be careful, especially with the kind of paper and how much tooth it has, how many layers you add, because it can stop taking layers. So if you're wanting to just add a little bit to smear out with a different color to kind of give it a different hue, don't scribble too much. You just want to do a light little bit and then add in. So you can see it's kind of not picking up as much anymore. I was just moving around there for a little bit. Using the opposite end, I'm just going to add more gray in there the best I can. And then I will use the Tortillon tool to kind of smudge it around a little bit more, as well as my finger. So you can see with my finger, it really smooths it out. The Tortillon is great for detail. You've seen me use it a lot, but it also kind of absorbs some. It's like if you use makeup, it's like a makeup sponge, how it absorbs a lot of product, but it also does a really great job blending it. It's the same idea. See, that's still a little too blue though, so we just want to, I'm just playing it by ear. That's really all that I'm doing here. And it's more muted now. So yeah, you're good for a little bit. Pause. So I decided to make the light reflections not as long as I had them. So all I'm doing is, while I'm doing this last section of the water reflection, I'm just going to be doing the same thing to the tops here. And it'll still reflect a little bit. And you can still see it underneath and everything like that, which I'm fine with. I just don't want it as pronounced. So while I'm doing the water, which again is just layering and smudging. And then I'm gonna do what I did a little bit of here too, is just taking a dirty pastel and smudging it over the light reflection so that it just looks like the water instead of having those lines that I had there. And then I'll go back in and add some more white. So, if you liked this video and you like my art, hopefully you like both. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to stay artsy.